Amazing. Well, welcome, Emma. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
I'm so excited for today because I've followed Killing Kittens for a while, and you've been going now for 20
20 years
years.
this year, so yeah.
Mental.
We've gone vintage and retro now. Come back into fashion.
And I see that you're valued. Well, online tells me you're valued at 15 million.
That was, the raise, last raise we did. So, yeah, on paper, but you know what, when you do the whole valuation thing, it's tricky. And it's a brand, so it's not just figures, it's kind of awareness, so it's very hard to put a number on it.
To quantify. But obviously your impact has been great. 200,000 members globally. How have you gone from that in 2005 to being where you are now?
I think, from day one, I mean, the online side of it from day one, because it was 2005, and it's like, I think Facebook came out in 2005, so it was sort of back then the digital world was beginning to happen, and so from day one I thought, well, we need an online part as well, and in my head I thought it's that database, it's that community bit that's key as well. So it wasn't just monthly parties, it was actually, the monthly party might be 50 people to 100 people, but it's much easier to get 1,000 people online. And I wanted people anywhere in the world to be able to be part of the community. So we always had a kind of online presence, which to start with was sort of very basic. Do you remember MySpace?
Yeah.
Kind of very basic sort of forum type thing. And then I thought, well, actually, I want it more Web 2.0, like more of the online dating kind of thing. So then, did a deal. I've been screwed over by so many tech people. Side to that. So we had that, the online, you have your profiles and you can have your chat, really basic. Again, with just kind of the forums attached to it. And then 2017, actually got a business partner on board who's amazing. Very yin to my yang and very tech and very strategic. And because I just knew I needed someone who knew the online world, and it needed to be a much bigger thing. So then, we built, we spent sort of 5 years building an all singing, all dancing online ecosystem. So that's where the online community is. We've got the Wax app, where the online Killing Kittens, that's where all the memberships are and the chat groups and everything like that. So I think that's it. You can do events, but if you want the database and the community side, then you really need to do that online. Yeah. And then everyone, that's the thing, it's completely accessible for everyone in the world. It's accessible where if you've got no money, because it's free, that side of things. So to be a member of that, it is free. Yes, you can be a premium member, which gets you bits. Yes, you can pay to come to events, but building up that community side has been, sort of our aim.
Amazing. And so you obviously did that pre-COVID.
Yeah. So we literally did our first financial raise 2018. So actually it was quite perfect timing. And started building then. And the first thing we're doing this chat app, so a bit like a WhatsApp. And that was always going to launch in mid 2020. So and we'd also moved all our workshops online beginning at sort of end of 2019. So it's sort of when COVID hit, it was sort of, me and my business partner we were quite excited. Everyone else was panicking, and we had this kind of, we're both also very neurospicy. So when there's chaos, we're like, this is our
Great,
time.
Yeah.
And we're like calm. It was sort of, actually, we could spend it turned out to be 18 months in the end, with no events whatsoever. That was just dead in the water, which obviously did cause a bit of a black hole revenue-wise. But we could all focus on the online side of KK, and to a captive audience who were sat at home going nowhere. So when we did launch, so the online workshops were really busy. Because suddenly also people, couples and singles were sat at home and actually having conversations with each other for the first time on what they like sexually, what they're thinking about, rather than being kind of ships in the night where one's going that way and you don't ever really have time to sit and chat in the boredom that I said at the beginning. It was always going to be make or break. Either there was going to be loads of, you're either divorced or you're even more in love and actually closer. There was no middle ground. And then singles also sat there thinking, well, what actually do I like? What do I like sexually? What have I thought about? And having time to do that. So the online side of, us flew. The chat app we launched was really busy because you're sat at home, but really busy from a support point of view as well, because there were a lot of singles sat on their own. We had men-only groups, and a lot of the guys in there said it was for their mental health. Actually, it became their their therapy kind of group. So take the sex side out, it gave people that sense of belonging and took away a lot of the loneliness. So, so that all got rolled out then, which was great. And then we also knew that at the end of the day we're animals and social creatures, and we need interaction, proper touch and human interaction, or social animal interaction, and no amount of COVID or tech can stop us wanting that and needing that. So we knew that as soon as it opened up and we were allowed to have events again, they would be bigger than ever and more demand. And it was. We literally went from doing 200, 250 maximum people parties pre-COVID to the second one we did after when we opened up was sort of 700 people.
Wow.
So it was a case of we're going to need a bigger boat as soon as we open back up.
And were you expecting that?
Yeah. Because I think when we've worked in it for so long, we know the core of how people operate, that real animalistic, what makes people tick, what makes people insecure, and to a point now, it's like, I if someone's nasty to me or whatever, I often think I'm straight away going, there's something going on with them, and a lot of the time it's like they need good sex. Yeah. They're not in a good relationship. It's their insecurities. They're projecting it onto happy people. It's now I'm very quick to, rather other people go, oh, she's being a bitch. I won't go think she's being a bitch. I'll think, oh, are you okay? There's something, and most of the time it comes down to that.
Yeah.
What's going on relationship-wise.
And so take us back to 2005. That was your first party. How did that begin, and how did the idea begin?
It started, I was sort of just angry and I had it as a kid because I was a real tomboy. Oh no, boys can do that, you can't. I was an army brat, was always on going camping with dad and stuff and doing loads of sport, had really short hair, and it was sort of that, I think that anger kind of started when I realised that, hang on, we're treated differently to boys, and why can boys do stuff and we can't do stuff? And, I was like, you're too bossy, you're too aggressive, you're just be a good girl, kind of. I wasn't allowed to do stuff, so my brother could have go. It's sort of be the good girl. And then it goes into, university, and it's sort of the guys could just shag around and do whatever they wanted, and we, you could do everything but. I remember at university, you did everything but, because God forbid you did the but, the actual shagging bit, because then your reputation was, it was all about blowjobs at university, because that wasn't, you weren't actually having sex, and from a female, that was, you didn't want that label. And it's, you then go into London and the dating world, and again, it was sort of, to me, it was like, well, the power is it was all about the men having the power. They did the asking out. They could sleep with whoever they wanted to. There was no shame. There was no judgment. And also, they chatted to each other, and it was sort of, well, do we really speak to our girlfriends about what we're thinking sexually, and, or sex toys or anything like that? There was so much shame attached to it all. And I was actually at a wedding in Ibiza with a really, loose crowd that are very well known in London at the time, with these women that just owned it sexually and slept with loads of other women, and there were threesomes, and it was sort of known. And someone just phoned up who wasn't at the wedding and said, "Are you lot just sat around killing kittens at the moment?" So we had this discussion. It was every time you masturbate, God kills a kitten. And something just went in my brain and just went, right, that's it. That's what I'm calling it. It was KK from day one. K's a really powerful letter. I just thought I wanted to create a space that flipped the norm. So women made the first move. Women were the members, where there was no shame or judgment, where you could ask questions, you could chat openly, anything to do with sexuality, and, experiment. And sort of that's how it came about, as a bit of screw you to what was going on in the outside world. Probably I look back and it was the world I wish I lived in. So I kind of created that world, and created, the first party had, I think, 50 people. It's in a that was in a venue we still use. It's where our hedonism parties are. And it just sort of, grew from there.
And so the main rule is that women have to make the first move.
Yeah, so women make the first move. We don't have single men, unless it's a singles event. We do specific events. We don't let single men in. Only women can buy the tickets. So they buy the tickets, and the men have to be members. But you buy a ticket and then you attach someone to that. If you're buying a couple ticket, you can attach another member to that ticket. So whether it's another woman, whether it's a guy, but it's even in the couple, the way we've done the Wax app, you have couple profiles, but they have separate accounts, so you know which one whether you're chatting to the male or the female, and only the female account can buy the ticket. So it's all quite complicated.
But the message is simple, that women are in control and have the power. So how many events now do you do a year? In-person ones?
We do like 1 or 2 a month, really. So there's always we do a lot of the hedonism ones, which are in London, the smaller, like 150 people ones. We do some big country 3 times a year, these big country balls that are double kind of headed. So we do it on the Friday night, big cabaret dinner parties, and the Saturday night, a black tie kind of mansion ball, and they're sort of between 300 and 500 people at each of them. We do some big club nights in London that can be 500 to 900 people. So probably one or two a month.
Wow.
And then you've got the socials, which are sort of drinks. They're just socials, like drinks and meet-up events, and they're all over the country, really.
And so if someone hasn't heard of Killing Kittens before and they're thinking there's 900 people in a room and everyone's shagging, what actually happens?
It's not 900 people shagging. It's, do you know because there's lots of smaller parties out there, and they're quite pushy. You're expected to have sex. You're expected to get into your underwear as soon as you walk in the door. Ours are parties, and we have a lot of people don't get involved. Probably 50% of the people that come they keep their clothes on. We have DJs, we have performers. I take friends. I take some of the school mums sometimes, and just for a night out. And if you stay around the party area, you don't see any naked person. I've been in events where there's 500 people in there, and I'll come out at 2 a.m. and go, I didn't see one naked person. It's only we have playrooms. So it's like in one place, the playrooms are upstairs. So if you don't go upstairs, it's just like being in a really cool house party. And you can dance and chat, and you see all the different performances and stuff. And so there's no expectation to have to get naked, to have sex. We get groups of girls that come down, and what they do is they strip off into lingerie, and they just love walking around in that and being on the dance floor, just dancing in their underwear, because they're like, that's empowering enough, and no one hits on them, and it's sort of a really safe environment to do that in, which you can't do that in any, and you can't do that in a nightclub.
No.
You can't even wear a dress on the floor of a nightclub without, a hand coming up a skirt or something.
And obviously, women's safety has become a massive topic of conversation within the nightlife space and event space. How do you ensure that at your events, practically?
So because we don't let single men in, then we just don't have that problem, and we don't have groups of guys out in the pool. Every man in there is sort of attached to a girl that comes in, and it's their responsibility, so it's sort of they're on the best behaviour. We have security, we have good security. We have community kittens, we call them, that sort of wander around the whole time, so it's really, really secure, and it's just it's hard to explain it. It's you take that testosterone factor out, you don't get that, and because the women feel like it's their space, then they're more empowered and more confident, and it's the whole dynamics of it.
And would you say there's like a certain archetype of person that's started to culturally come to your spaces?
Do you know what? It's like a lot of people, I think, because I'm private school, blonde, private school, middle class, it's kind of an assumption that it's sort of that's, you know what I mean? It's like all private school people.
Well, I even saw someone like had a picture of you with Kate Middleton, and it was like, did Kate Middleton go?
I know, that was a very old picture that just keeps being regurgitated. But no, it's all different. Like on the class front, it's probably very AB demographic. It's like the price point is that, but it's all different nationalities. I mean, Venice, we had a Venice party this weekend. It was like 120 people, and I counted 15 nationalities. They're just the ones I spoke to. So different religions, different nationalities, different ages. I think the age range for Venice, you know, the youngest was 27, and the oldest was there was a couple in their like late 60s. There's a real mix. There's a mix of all kind of culture, race, nationalities, religions across all industries as well. I would say that they're all hedonists. So that's the bit everyone has in common. They're all the sort of people that a lot of high flyers, because they're the ones who go out and they've got the drive and the grit and the determination, and they realise they have one life. So they're the sort that will, you know, some of them will be running ultra marathons or jumping out of aeroplanes or travelling, and they enjoy food and they enjoy wine. And there's not, you know, the sober side of it is, notice that's increasing loads. But yeah, they look after themselves. It's probably the hedonistic theme that just runs. It's a certain type of person. Yeah. And they're very open-minded. So that's the thing. It's that just accepting people for who they are, as long as no one's getting hurt. It's like you do you. And you have, you hear like political debates going on at the bar sometimes, and people complete different ends of the spectrum, but they just respect each other. And I think that's the bit that, in society we just got wrong. Well, not, people don't do that. It's sort of, well, if you don't have my views, then you're an arsehole.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Have you ever regretted what you've created?
No, I've never ever. There hasn't been a day I've regretted it. Most days I question it. Or in a case of it's a hard slog, and sometimes it's like, wow, it kind of would be easier just to sort of go and get a proper job, and and it's a fight, and it's daily abuse, and it's sort of. Everything we do business-wise, a lot, computer says no. So other businesses, whether it's online banking, whether it's insurance, whether just venues, just, because of the industry and perception, everything from online payments to it's not, even, digital marketing and Google ads. And it's, what we've had to do in the last 20 years is, and find loopholes and jump through hoops is, what most people, it's hard enough setting up a business, but imagine when you set up a business and actually you can't do what other businesses can do because you're considered adult, and so you're not allowed to. Or, 1 year, we had, I won't say like a banking, online banking thing, and we were fine with it for a few years, and then suddenly after COVID, it's like they shut us down due to the nature of the business. There's no rhyme or reason. It was just that's a human being making a decision from their own emotions and personal thing, that's the thing. So, no, there isn't one that I've never ever regretted it, because to me it's sort of the mission and what it stands for and what I've been trying to do is much bigger than just me as an individual. So you just take the crap.
And I saw you on was it this morning? Just after you got the COVID.
Oh, the Future Fund, yeah.
Yeah, and it was framed as like government-backed sex party. Have you had sort of criticism like that, or from?
Well, that was in the news. I know someone sent it to me. It was in like the Guardian and Times last week about how that Future Fund is cost million. Well, it's lost loads of value, and loads of companies went under who got that fund and stuff, and we, being the interesting one, are used in it, and the photo of us, but actually we're kind of the pin-up for that Future Fund, because when the shares converted, we've actually gone up in valuation. We've done a raise since then, so I think they came in when we did a raise, it was about just under 10 million or something. And that's when their shares converted. But then we since did a raise at 15 million. So is that we're kind of, what we've done is exactly what that fund was for. So it's funny. It's kind of all spun in. But then you look at it like that, and all the ones that took that fund out is, all the business like ours, we've contributed tax and VAT and everything, and employment wages into the government that isn't taken into consideration. So it's just like clickbait.
Yeah, totally. And so you're also a mum.
Yeah.
Mum of 3.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been a journey that you've had whilst you've been running Killing Kittens and setting this whole thing up. What has that been like for you?
Chaos. Overwhelming. I always say, and they'll kill me when they're older, that, 2 of them weren't planned. So, the first one was a drunk New Year's Eve, and then it was like we didn't want an only child, so we had the second one, and the third one was conceived of like on day 5 of my cycle, age 40, which should never have. That was meant to be a safe date.
Yeah.
I ended up having like 3 kids in 4 years. So it is overwhelming and chaotic, but at the same time, like postnatal depression runs in my family, and I think working. I had like week-old babies on my lap in the office. And not stopping work, and doing the nightly feed, and you're at 2 a.m. and it's pitch black and it's really calm. Just doing some emails as well. It just kept me sane, because I think you can go. The thought of sitting around doing nothing with a newborn baby that just fills me with dread.
That's why I don't have kids.
No,
I listen to the conversations in the playground when I'm with my nephew, and I'm like.
Yeah, I didn't join any NCT groups. I thought, I've got enough friends, because I started late. 36, 38 and 40 when I had mine 3, who'd had kids and they were older, and I just thought, if I need advice, I'll get it from them. And also made a point of keeping myself and keeping what I was doing and going out and trips, and that's the thing. And I think I had that really strong in my head that I needed to keep me, and I call it being unapologetically selfish. That you have to. I think women aren't very good at being selfish. That word is like, as if it's something, if it's wrong. But you have to. If you're happy, everyone's happy. So, I think the only way I've been able to do it is how it takes a village. It really does, to raise kids and let go of that control and actually other people can look after my kids. And, in an emergency now, there's loads of school mums that will step in, or they can have sleepovers, or, and my mum's been amazing. And at the same time, create that team at work so that I'm not needed. I'm really not needed. I just annoy people now. I'm in the team. And, that's the thing, and have my girlfriends as well. So it's sort of, you need your tribes in all areas to be able to have it all. And it's a compromise. You're compromising stuff. It's like, could I be paid more money? Yeah, but I'm not, because I need other people to do that work. So that I don't do it, because I can't do it, because I've got 3 kids, and I want to be there, at some school pickups. I want to be able to, at 1 PM, if they've got like in a school assembly or something, to be able to do it. I want to actually be present in my kids' lives, especially when they're little. Which a lot of people miss because they're just so work. Yeah. And
so this concept of I guess a lot of narrative is for women of we can have it all. It sounds like you've got a very realistic, yes, you can have it all, and.
Yeah. I think you can have it all, but at a compromise.
Yeah.
Because you can't have it all at the top levels. You can't have it all and, on the parent front and be completely 100% present. If you've got the work thing, and on the work thing, and I feel guilty every day, and you've just got to accept that, because it's a juggle of, because you're juggling, am I giving my husband enough attention? Am I giving the kids enough attention? Am I giving work enough attention? Or I haven't seen those friends, It's sort of, I think it's the voice, it's the way you speak to yourself. That's the thing. You just have to. In my head, it's like, well, I'm doing my best, and I can't have it all, and I can't do it all, but what I'm doing is pretty good.
Yeah. I love that. And so, being a mum of 3 at the school playground, What's that been like with people knowing what you do and it being very public?
Well, they go to a Church of England Village primary school, so it's fun. Do you know what? It was funny because they were all at nursery, and I never had anything at nursery. But then it was, it was quite a full-on nursery where it was all year long, 52 weeks. You could drop them at 7. You could, pick them up at 6:30 if needed. So it was proper work. That is 2 parents working, or if single parents, that's a proper. So there was never any. But then you hit school where half the mums don't work, and you've got the religious side of it. So I've heard stuff, but also at the same time, I've got some really good mum friends, and we're having 3 of them there. That's 3 different year groups, and actually, so I've got good friends in all the different year groups. But because there are 3 of them there, I do hear, I get told stuff.
What's been the worst thing you've had?
I think one of the worst ones was someone actually calling in because it was a video on Instagram of my 6-year-old. She was wearing shorts, but we just got an ice bath, and she was actually getting in there, but she had little arms on the thingy, and she was telling me that she was going to beat her brothers 3 minutes and get 6 minutes. So she was there looking really, concentrating. And it got reported in and over to social services, who said this is ridiculous. It should never have been. But you just to me, it's that was someone. You just think, does someone really hate you that much that they actually think your kids should be taken off you? That one really hit hard, because I thought she was blatantly off doing nothing in there. And it was, so there's kind of little things, or, I've ended up as chair of the PTA, which is fairly amusing. I just think, do you know what, just get in there to really annoy some people. But on that front, that was a drunk decision with the old chair, who's my neighbour in lockdown, going, "You'll be really great, and I need someone to take over from me." I went, and I was like, "They'll never let me," and they did. And I thought, I'll do it for a year, but I've been doing it 5 years, and I love it because it's just organising events, which I love doing, and raising money. So it's sort of, I take the white noise of hearing stuff out, because I just think, well, if you want to take over, if you feel that strongly I shouldn't be it, then make a stand, and you say you want to go for chair. But what I mean, it's sort of every year it kind of gets voted back in, so it's sort of,
you're doing something
if you want to do it, And
why did you choose the Church of England school?
Because I've always gone to church, and since I was little, it kind of went to, at school we always went, to church every day, and I've always had a faith, and it's there's something bigger. Mm-hmm. There's something bigger than me that kind of, when you speak to someone, and I don't know, it's just kind of, it's not a massive sort of all the detail of it that I'm into. It's just sort of having that faith, and that there's something more out there, and it's just, so I like it, that just because it gives you just a bit of a sense of responsibility. And I don't like the way religion has been spun, and all the little intricacies, and if you don't believe this bit, then you're wrong. And it's sort of, actually, I'm a real big picture person in everything, and so that big picture of having one thing, one entity, and I don't get bogged down in the.
I grew up my parents were church pastors.
Okay.
So I very much share the same outlook on it. And when I see the arguments and divisions that are created from religion, I'm like, how is it that? Yeah, it doesn't quite compute in my brain either. Exactly.
And to be honest, it was like, it's the best primary school right by us. So it's sort of, it worked in that we've probably had a choice about 4, but that was kind of the closest. And also, I just quite I like that C of E for primary school, because it does drum in to the kids as well that there's more than them. Mm-hmm. That kind of, that bit that you kind of don't get in other schools. So secondary school, I'm not really bothered. They'll probably go to, there's one up the road that isn't a C of E one. It's but I quite like it.
Yeah. And so what do your kids know about what you do?
So as they've got older, they know. Well, the thing with now that we've got the Wax app, and that's like an online dating app as well, and so it's sort of, oh, like Mummy's got a dating app. There's a bit more to it.
Yeah.
And like we're doing cruises as well and retreats. So it's the parties have kind of become kind of probably the tip of a massive iceberg. And I do a lot of the sister stuff, which is like crazy challenges and charity stuff. So there's so many. So now what, you know, one of the main things the girls do is like, all of mummy's, I heard the 7-year-old go, well, all of mummy's business is she just wants girls and women to do better. So it's kind
Amazing.
of, I'm like, I'll take that. It's sort of, the sex side of it is the 11-year-old boy. I mean, he's a boy and he's year 6 and, you know what I mean, they know everything by the time they're 7, boys nowadays. So he finds it quite funny, but he's never really on the party front. They know it's, you know, it's called Killing Kittens and stuff. And, you know, he, the other day, kind of accosted me on the train because he was on my phone and it popped up. There was a Daily Mail headline saying adult toys in every room. It was talking about the cruise. And he was like, adult toys in every room, Mum. And he went, what are adult toys? And I was like, on a really busy train. I said, they're just, well, toys that, you know, as couples or on your own, you just, you know, you can play with and it makes you feel good. And I was like, okay. And so I ended it. And then he just went, unbeknownst to me, and he'd Googled adult toys and he just went like that at me. And there was just like on my, like literally images of every kind of dildo possible. And he went, they look like willies. And so it kind of, it's sort of, to me, it's, I will never lie to them, and it's just answering in an age appropriate.
Yeah,
and also as if there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
that's the thing. So it's like, you know, when they've learning that it's a penis and breasts, and they have the first thing. I'm like, it's just a body part. And actually, one of them in the lesson, when people laugh, when they're just body parts, and I thought, good. Yeah. That's, you know, it's kind of taking that, it's just normalising it, and educating them. As you know, as it goes along, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds progressive.
I think the teenage years could be fun.
It's going to be great. Yeah. I look forward to hearing this in like 10 years' time of what the journey's been. And so your husband, when you came home and you were like, was this a together journey of creation?
No, we weren't. We've been together 12. So I've been doing it 20 years. We've been together 12 years. So he very much met me when it was full on. Work-wise and stuff. So he, but I mean, he knew, we met through friends, that it was business and work, and so he's known that from day one, and he sees the bigger picture, and he sees how I am, and in that work environment, and so.
And I suppose you must have to have quite clear boundaries for yourself, being in the space that you're in and working in that. What do some of those look like?
I've never got involved. That's the thing. It's never from which people. It always surprises people. It's like, why would you put yourself in that position and all that abuse if it wasn't something? I've never got involved. I've never been interested in getting involved. So it's always been business. It's always been that standing back and looking at the big picture and what's going on unemotionally. Because I think it's so emotional, that space, and I've seen loads of other like party things pop up and the people fall out, and it's because I just call them shaggers. It's like the people running these events are shaggers. They're in it for themselves, and there's too much emotion in that. So boundary wise, it's been business, and it's been keeping that enables me to like completely, you know, keep my eye on what's happening in society, what trends, what's coming up. How people are behaving, and see all the business side of it.
And I suppose you probably birthed Killing Kittens at quite a poignant time with like the Me Too movement and women's empowerment and women's kind of rights in the Western world coming to the forefront, and everyone was discussing this. How has what's happened in society at large impacted Killing Kittens?
I think, 2005 was when Sex and the City first came out, so you suddenly had women talking about sex toys. So you had that. You had Lalo went into Selfridges, the first sex toys into Selfridges. You had Anna Summers hitting the high streets, their stores. So that so that's the other thing. You know, when we got a lot of attention because we were in that wave of what they called female sexual revolution back then. Actually, it's all right for women to have a voice. Sexually, and have these conversations and get sex toys and, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. So it's sort of, we were on that part of that first wave, and then we just sort of kept going. And with Me Too, that was actually why I got, when Me Too happened, beginning of 2017, that was when I got, you know, an amazing business partner on board, because I was like, this is set, you know, this has lit a fire under like the world's women again, and we need to raise a lot of money and actually go big or go home, or some Silicon Valley upstart is going to come flying over the top, claim to own that female sexual empowerment space and platform and throw millions at a tech platform. So we need to get in there and do it. So yeah, and at the same time, it's sort of watching that, you know, it went a bit mad a couple of years ago. It's like, you know, that whole what is a woman? You couldn't use the word woman anywhere. And I was like, no, it's going to come back around, which it has, luckily. And so it's sort of, there's always that kind of, while we kind of keep calm, it's like everyone sort of panics a bit about what they should and shouldn't be doing. And it's sort of, we've kind of seen it before. So it's sort of knowing that, like staying the course. And now actually, you know, since COVID, it was like, I said, there's going to be a massive rise in the hedonistic escapism side of things and people wanting those experiences and just in general. So we've kind of now, you know, we've launched our first cruise next year and we've got 3 and it's sold really well. So we've launched another 3 for 27 and 28 and doing retreats. So it's sort of, we're positioned to hit that wave of more of the mainstream kind of side of that hedonistic side, but with the sex bit in the mix.
Yeah.
And on the retreat side of things, just that we're trying to do, just bringing the sexual wellness into mental and physical, which people have always done, but the sexual side's being like, oh, it's taboo and it's like naughty, but it's sort of, that drives us, that's our core. So if we're not looking after our sexuality, if we're not spending time and energy and effort and money, you know, working out what makes us tick and really getting to know us, that actual core, then no amount of workouts and supplements and mental health apps will make us happy. So it's sort of, now we're bringing that all in the mix.
And what are some of the downsides you've seen of women's empowerment?
Do you know what? It's that, what I don't like is that carte blanche to do anything you want to do as a woman in a case of, well, it's female empowerment. So, you know, I can do what I want. And also there's a lot of what I call it all fart, no poo, in the people saying they're going to do stuff, or women's groups and networks, but there's still that really bitchy undertone of actually they don't want to help each other out. They are still competing. They are looking each other up and down. I think we can be our own worst enemies. And a lot of time it's, you know, people, you know, say it's all men, but actually a lot of the time, you know, when you hear people having, you know, crap times in jobs and things, often it's it's female bosses. And so it's sort of, same with feminism. It's sort of, it's the man bashing that kind of, whereas I'm like, let's just work together. Yeah. To me, like the future's human, and that's it. And without the labels, we're actually, you know, girls don't feel they can't do anything boys can do, and we're just equal.
And it's that rise of that hyper masculine that's kind of seeped into society since the rise of women's empowerment. Yeah. And I guess, have you ever had the criticism that your parties are emasculating men, taking away that power?
Yeah, we've had that, and our men don't want that, but that's the thing, is that there's nothing worse than an insecure male, you know, who feels threatened because the way they project that. But that's the thing, it's like, and that's what's happened big time, is that there's the rise of men feeling threatened, which is kind of fair enough because it's sort of been their world and their rules, and it really infuriates me, because actually there's nothing better than a secure female, because a secure female is so happy, and you can do a lot more sexually together in that environment. Be a work environment, you have a confident, secure female. It's and you put that with a secure male, you can do amazing things, work-wise stuff. It's that whole feeling threatened, just ah.
Yeah. And then what have you seen that kind of creates towards women, like more restriction and a kind of I've seen like almost like a turn back to more traditional ways, like a clinging on to that. How does it look if it was two empowered people working together? If
it's two empowered people, then you just let each other be themselves and trust each other and get on with it, what they're doing, and as individuals. I think the minute you've got someone trying to control the other one, and I always say, the tradition, I've always said my way of feminine is the choice to do, as long as we've got the choice, and it's our choice to, if you want to be a stay-at-home mum, be a stay-at-home mum. If you want to be a traditional one, be it, but not if it's what the man is making you do, which often it is. And a lot of women I know who have been in that position, it's like, my husband doesn't want me working. And it's sort of, that's not your choice then. So it's sort of all that the traditional is absolutely 100% fine. If that is what you want and that's what you're choosing to do, then 100%. But a lot of the time it's not. And a lot of the time it is the man controlling. But at the same time, in non-traditional, it's like, it really upsets me the amount of emotionally abusive relationships are going on. And controlling relationships. They're going on, with guys you think are really lovely guys. And then you hear the little comments, and because it's their insecurity and trying to control. And so it's gone a bit mad, really. But to me, it's like, could everyone just let everyone just sort of do what they want in a kind of, if it's their choice, and support each other?
It sounds simple, doesn't it? It sounds simple. And I want to know your opinions on Bonnie Blue. Is she a example of feminism empowered or gone wrong?
I think it's society gone wrong. In that it's not necessarily feminine. Like I've always said, if you want to be a porn star, great. If you want to be a pole dancer, great. If you want to be an escort, if that's your choice, and it does empower you and you feel in control and you enjoy doing it, then great. But a lot of the time they don't enjoy doing it. And it's if she enjoys that, then fine. If she wanted to sleep with 1,000, guys, then fine. So that's not the bit that I have a real issue. It's you're doing it for attention. And if people are doing it for attention and likes and all of that, then that's your ego. It's the same with anyone on Instagram. It's like, how many likes have I got? And it's your ego going, it's basically, you wake up in the morning and that's what will fulfill you, is like how many people have given you a bit of attention. And that to me is like, you're not that happy, So if you need that external praise and attention all the time, then it makes you think, you're a happy person. So I think it's that bit that do it, but why the big song and dance about it? Why, give it a whole kind of I'm teaching man, and it just doesn't sit. I mean, the thing is, the minute she went to bed with Andrew Tate, that was when I went, no, you're dead to me. It's kind of, I had actually sort of backed her up in some arguments with people about, fine, if she wants to do it, do it. But the more it's sort of, just that kind of really needing the attention.
And it's money.
Yeah.
She's a money-making machine.
Yeah.
And when that gets involved, kind of questions what's true, what's not.
Yeah. And it is, and that's the thing, and it's sort of, it's sex and it's your body, and you can do what you want, you shouldn't be judged and on that front. But there's a line to, are you really enjoying it? Is it, really you are, that kind of being not used, because you do get used, as a prostitute. You will, it is someone, but you're in control and it's on your terms. And so it is a hard one. It's something that I can't sort of give a hard disagree or agree with, because there's so many bits to unpick.
Having young children, is it something that's seeped into conversation? Like, you mentioned Andrew Tate, but Andrew Tate and Bonnie Blue, are these conversations that you're having to unpack at the age that your children are?
They're too little, so my three, but I know I've got loads of friends with teenagers who have had, and teenage boys have had a real issue. They've had to like wean them off Andrew Tate and stuff, and there is a real issue. There's an issue with porn and teenage boys, a huge one, and sex education, and that if that's what they're seeing, on the porn front, if that's what they're seeing and that's what their first bit of sex is, then how are they going to know that it's not real? And girls don't make those noises, where do they learn about female pleasure? Where it's sort of, to me, that bit of it. And I get the Andrew Tate bit of why everyone, because the world did go mad, and suddenly it's like a man had to be really vulnerable and emotional and non-masculine, and actually there's nothing wrong with being masculine at all. And so it's like, if you don't have those role models where they found the likes of Andrew Tate. So I kind of get why it happened, and to me it sort of should flag up actually. And actually now we're kind of coming back around. There's a lot more influencers that are masculine, that have the real mix of kind of vulnerability, emotional, mental health, but are masculine and athletic and manly, so I think he came at a time when, in that crazy time, a few years ago, where...
And he was come with a strong message, clear principles,
where
great marketing.
Boys didn't have anyone to... There weren't many people, so... but then, he opened his mouth, and the way he treats women, and it's that the minute people turn around and go, this is the only way to do it and the other ways are wrong, they lose me. Yeah. Because it's like, you do you, I'll do me. Don't judge anyone. Don't say it's, this is the right way, this is the wrong way. As I said, it's like, as long as no one's getting hurt, then, I'm not going to judge anyone that...
So if Andrew Tate came to one of your parties, what would you do?
Yeah, he wouldn't be allowed in. No, not the way he's treated women. And I know a couple of girls that have been treated, that have been on the receiving end of him, so no.
Wouldn't be allowed in?
No.
And any men... Like, how would a man like that, have you seen a man, like, absolutely sink in one of your parties where, I don't know, triggered out or...
Yeah, no, we've had, when we've seen a couple of arguments, sometimes it is the man, when they feel, as I said, insecure and out of control, and it's not about them, they, that in principle and, beforehand, in theory, they were up for it, and often it's like they still feel in control because they've been part of the decision making and they think it's going to be amazing, and then suddenly they realise it's not about them. That you can see a few heckles go up. But we had, in 20 years, we'll touch wood, we haven't had any massive incidents.
And I guess you must have had people meet and get together as well on the flip side, and have like beautiful relationships from that. Do you get your stories back from people that have come to your parties?
Yeah, we do get some stories, and we get a lot of people, where the reasons why they want to join KK and what KK has done for them. And I've got a couple of friends that have met their partners on the online side of it, on the dating bit, and one of them had their second baby last year. And actually when they first got together, it was sort of a fuck buddy. And she was like, he is totally not what I normally go for. She'd come out of a relationship, wanted a bit of fun. It was kind of a Friday night thing that's just gone, actually, we're completely compatible and together, and now, 2 babies in.
That's incredible. That's awesome. And so you've signalled or hinted a little bit about what's coming up for KK in the future. Is there anything else that you've got, like, under the surface? Can give us a hint of?
We are looking for a hotel because we want to take over a hotel and actually have a KK hotel. We're going down the property.
Wow. What's like, you're going to own that hotel?
So own like a cool kind of boutique hotel that is the KK hotel that, it's all done up, very femme, sensual. Definitely.
Amazing. Yeah. And will that be promoted as people come there to play, or is it just going to be like a normal hotel?
With that aspect, yeah. To play, but you don't have to play, but it's just, it'll have that vibe, and we'll probably do, there'll be, whether or not it's like a Friday or Saturday night, there's events on, and but you just come and you stay.
And you always seem to be ahead of the curve. Like you said, there's loads of other, parties or brands that have popped up, but you do seem to be trailblazing, leading the way. What would you say has been the way that you actually do that?
I think we having that tech part, I'm going digital from day one, and seeing that space has really, because that costs a lot of money, tech and stuff, has, and not just seeing it as parties. And I think that's part of the not being a shagger in that world, is sort of actually where seeing that the whole land. I got, it's a game of chess. You have to see the whole chessboard, and not get bogged down in like knocking off pawns right in front of you. So it's always being able to see all that, and also see where the whole LGBT, the sex positive world. You can see the signs when you're in that world. You see it before society and the media catches up with really what's going on. You can see the fringe sides and the noises being made, and what's what's coming along. And I've always seen the big bi side. I've always said girls are bisexual. That's just a given, like Animal, and where we are. So it's sort of that from day one, is seeing that and seeing how, well, the more we get financial freedom, the more we will explore more sexually, and actually not stay in relationships, not stay in marriages like we used to as women, because we can look after ourselves. So that's kind of, when you kind of look at all the things that, the ripple effect, then you kind of can see what's coming.
So one last question for you. What do you actually think of marriage?
I think, I've been happily married. It's our 10-year wedding anniversary in a week's time. I love being married, and but I don't see it works for us. It works for us, and I don't see it as you have to do. Again, it's that choice, isn't it? It's like I don't judge anyone that doesn't believe in marriage. But that whole kind of believing in marriage, I don't really know what believing in. What are you believing in? It's sort of two people, and actually, it's quite nice having that marriage to cement something. But I'm a bit of an old school romantic, so it. Yeah, to me, it's not believing in marriage. I enjoy being married, and I kind of wanted to get married, and
love that.
Yeah,
love that.
But if you don't want to, then so be it.
Love it. And so where can people find out about your events, see what you do, tap into the dating app online community?
Yeah, to be honest, with a name like Killing Kittens, it's pretty easy to Google. If you Google Killing Kittens, it's all on there. And then hit join Killing Kittens, you automatically go into the Wax app. The Wax app is on. It's on the Play Store. It's on it's on the Apple Store and stuff. So you can download that separately. But if you can't remember the Wax bit, then actually it's all through Killing Kittens. It's all in there. Yeah.
And tickets to your events sell out pretty quickly, don't they?
Yeah.
So how long should someone be?
Depends what the event is. It's sort of. We release events sort of 6 months before, but they do sell. They sell out. Some of them sell out in a couple of weeks, like the Edinburgh ones, 150 people ones. But then we've got a massive. We always do a big pre-New Year's Eve party, and that's gone live a few weeks ago. And there'll be tickets right up to that, because that you can get 900 people in there. So that's end of December. So it depends what they are.
So check out the website, and maybe 6 months in advance, you're saying maybe.
Yeah, well, that's when a lot of the events get released. But others are 3 months. Some are bigger, smaller. So Amazing.
Well, thank you so much for
Thanks
joining
for
me today.
having me.